Welcome back to the Slimefun Survival Series here on my channel. I'm your host Boomer, and today we're going to continue where we left off last episode. Hopefully you enjoyed that quick little time lapse of building a lot. Boy, I tell you, this took probably just 2 days alone just to gather the resources to craft everything. So what do we have here? Well, currently I have advanced cobble generators, right? Each column is 56. So 56, 112, 168, 224, 280, 336, 392, and then there's this little one of another 32. So I believe the count is 434, or maybe it's 444, I forget. But anyways, why so many? Well, the goal is to make 28 infinity cobble generators. So as I have void ingots, each one of those infinity cobble gens needs 16 advanced. Each advanced is 2 basic, so 32 basic to get to the infinity. So as each one is able to be made, I will pull the appropriate gens out. But this is the design I chose to go with. And as we use different machines out here, there'll be different setups I might try to play around with a little bit. But this one allows 56 machines to be run off of 4 energy connectors. Stuck a little bit of light in there to kind of keep the top going, and the half slabs up top, believe it or not, are to stop slime spawns. I've got a ton of slimes that are all over this base, and some of them were happening from above. So just to play it safe, I've started putting half slabs now on top. So we have all those cobble gens. Well, what's next then legitimately would be the dust extractors. Now these have also been running for like 24 hours, so almost all of my extractor storages are full with dust. But again, this time there's 28 per. I could have done 56 and just put the pushers on the sides, on one side and the other, and the grabbers on opposite sides. I just chose to do stacks of 28. And then finally, we have, how many ingot formers did we lay out? 56. Although actually I only need 54. So the one thing I'm kind of waiting on is gold, and I got to take a look here to make sure that these are voiding. Yeah, they should all be voiding with the exception of gold. Ooh, there we go. That's why I'm running out of gold. So I'm building up enough dust and ingots so when I finally set up the Networks auto crafters, I can go right out of the gate. And I had that one up, so that stopped my gold. And right now, infinity ingot formers make 24 karat gold, so that's what I need to build up a little bit. So when I put all these out here, I had a power cushion of around 200,000 joules per second. See, all these slimes. When everything ran, I dropped to about 200,000 negative. So I came in here and disconnected quite a few machines and still couldn't get positive until most of those machines out there stopped. Now that I just started them back up again, I may actually be negative. So, yep, here it is. Boom, we have void harvesters going. As a matter of fact, I have 16 of them going, which just ran out of power since I started everything back up. I do have a fair amount of void ingots started, but I wanted you guys to see what I had put together first. I want to say I have enough void ingots for at least 4. Yeah. 3, because if I remember right, it's 20. Plus with all those bits that's out there, there might be enough to get up to 80. It's going to take a while, and obviously my power has gone down. Let's see. Oh yeah, we are down. Look at that. I'm down 266,000 joules per second, or per tick. I should probably disable everything in this room, but I'm letting other machines run as well, such as building up blistering ingots and a few key pieces that I need. So for now, I'm going to let them run, but the next step I obviously have to figure out is power. And I have three different ways I could go about this. One, I could start using power from another add-on, and the plan is to eventually build up Infinity's panels, the Infinity panels. But what I wanted to do was upgrade the power that I already have in place. So the next one would be, I have all the basic Ignis generators. I wanted to go to the Ignis. So 5 times the power, right? Well, here's where the problem comes in, is the core of block, right? I need 64 supreme cobblestone. Each one of those is made up of 576 cobblestone. Now I've got I don't know, 250 million cobble, that's not the problem. It's going to be things like sand, end stone, snow, clay. Oh, and also the machine to automate the production to get enough just to make one core. Well, if I make one of those, then I have to make the centrus ignis. Okay, I have all these in sufficient quantities, so no problem there. Now comes making these other ones, right? The conveyance adductor and the armor plates. I hate these. But it made sense to start working on these and then working towards eventually, once all of this room, because what's going to happen is at some point you're going to see me clear this room out and we're going to reorganize it. And I've got a couple of ideas I'm tossing back and forth, but we are going to clear everything out of here, reorganize it, start setting up for autocrafters. I want to find a better, more permanent place for storage of the central items, meaning dust, core ingots, and then all the alloys that get made, because I'm going to have to farm those out to different networks at some point. With what I've already got built, you can see we're going to run into network problems very quickly. And we're going to have at least 6 to 8 networks, maybe even more, by the time we're done. Not to mention, I'd like to recoup a lot of this space. For every 4 blocks, I can recoup it with 1 with networks. Another reason to get switched over. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to start on the power production to get enough to make sure that even if everything in this room is disconnected, it runs out here, and I think I want to move the power out here. So let's do that. Let's get started on power production, and then we'll come back. All right, guys. Well, we've gotten 7 Ignis generators upgraded from the basic to the Ignis. So our net gain of power, because the previous one produced 2,500, these produced 25,000. So we've gained about another 157,000 joules per tick. So roughly 315,000 joules per second. I'm hoping, for now at least, that's enough, because we added all those machines outside of the base. Now they've pretty much stopped because all of the ingot formers, ingot formers and dust extractors have filled all the storage units to their maximum capacity. So for the moment, it's getting pretty messy in here. Next stage we'll talk about in a second. But all of these have pretty much stopped with the exception of cobble production, because that one hasn't hit the infinity storage capacity yet. Let's take a look. Where are we? Coming up on 1 million pretty quick. But otherwise, for dust, we're at 262,000 across the board for every single item. So now the only option out here is to start upgrading these machines. I have roughly enough void ingots to upgrade about 7 cobble gens. So 112 of these will come out here soon. But let's get back into the main area, because like I said, this is getting pretty messy and I need to do something about it. We've started converting items into cores because we were upgrading power. We're going to let those run as long as we possibly can, but I think it's time. I think it's time to empty the room. And actually what I'm going to do with the electricity is I'm not going to keep it on the floor. I want the floor space mainly for storage. And so what we're going to do is we're not going to go all the way up, but we are going to raise it off the floor high enough so that I won't ever have to worry about walking into it. And then as we add more, we'll simply build it straight up. So I'll tell you what, as much as I hate to do this, all of this has to come out, with the exception of some basic machines, but we're going to move those. We're going to get everything up against the back walls. It's time to really start building out the storage unit. So let's begin. Wow, I can't believe how long it took. That time lapse you saw was probably 4.5 hours of pulling everything down and sorting it out. And now I've got a chess monster on my hands, but at least it's going to give me a chance to really take some time to lay this base out and get it organized. So right now I've started going out and getting like the electrical framework into place for when we start adding in any machines either in here or outside of the dome. So actually that carries to both external sides. I'm actually going to have two going out each way. It's probably a little bit more than I need, and it's a few extra nodes, but honestly, it keeps me from having to put anything on, over, or near entrances, which is something I've really wanted to avoid through this process. So now what do I do next, right? Well, obviously I've got dust production and ingot production was already laid out. So I think the first thing that has to happen in setting the base back up is alloys, carbonados, blistering ingots, motors, electromagnets, heating coils, those kind of things, the basic resources that you need to craft everything else. I'm going to try, I don't know how this is going to work yet, but I'm going to try to keep very little actual production inside of this dome. And probably the only thing that will be in here will be like the base ingots and alloys, because what I can do is in the center of the room, because the electricity is going to be above the regulator, none of the generators will be below it. So I can actually put storage in the middle of the room, and then set up 4 sub networks coming out of it. And that's kind of what my idea was. So that way, no matter where I'm at, I can put literally in a straight line of 20 or 30, or I can stack them. There's a couple of different ways to configure this, where I can actually stack them in a way that will allow me to have them go to 4 different sub networks all at once. And then I won't have to worry about overburdening any one network. Whoops, am I hitting something? Oh, I already have a note up there. Oh, that was from the previous one. Okay. Well, that saved me that one, I guess. So, in other words, by having the 4 networks in here, I can literally take. So let's say I've got, I don't know, a line going left to right with dust, another one with basic ingots, and then 2 more over here with alloys. I can put monitors on the top, the bottom, the front, and the back, and run them all the way, so they can actually connect to 4 unique separate networks and yet not be connected, right? I mean, it's just through a bridge. So that will be the nice thing about it, is that I'll be able to really maximize my storage and my production in here, while at the same time keeping everything as efficient, centralized, and a lot more organized. I tend to be a little bit OCD when I organize my chess room. So if you've ever played with me on a server, you know I build massive storage rooms, and I mean, they're alphabetical. Usually, this time it won't be, but they're going to be organized by type of material a little bit better. That way I can look at a whole production run of an item and see exactly where I sit. So I tell you what, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. As you can see, I need to put some more of the framework in place for my power, and then we'll start building out the storage and production area. So guys, I want to thank you again as always for watching. I appreciate you. And don't forget, when you're playing Slimefun, you got to go boomer or you got to go home. We'll see you later.